What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. I'm joined by Tyler. We are back for another video in our Pirates of the Caribbean community series, a community series that airs every other Friday on our channel where we talk about Pirates of the Caribbean related topics. So we've talked a lot about the reboot in terms of specific elements in it, in terms of characters coming back, all sorts of stuff with if it's a soft reboot or just a full-on reboot. And in this video, we kind of want to talk about interest in Pirates of the Caribbean and talk about should Pirates of the Caribbean be rebooted at all. And we'll talk a little bit about, how if we even need these movies, how many more could we see, whether or not the movie is actually getting rebooted or not. So Tyler, what do you think? What do you think like the interest level in Pirates is? Do you think this movie even should be rebooted in the first place?
It's actually kind of a tough question. And of course I like Pirates of the Caribbean quite a bit. It is one of the more like standout-ish films that I've seen, at least. Very different. There's really actually there's probably no Pirates movies in general, let alone a Pirates movie with supernatural elements. So it is definitely unique. And as we've talked about in previous videos, there are a lot of cool things that they could do. We talked about how they could technically do time travel. They could add more supernatural elements into it, like go all in on the supernatural. There are a lot of different things that they could do. Go into, and like with the supernatural, I think before we mentioned how maybe go into like a different universe where like all the supernatural stuff is even more, like even way more enhanced. Like where there's not just one Kraken like that's all over the place, and there's like sea monsters, and that's just like how the world is. Like everything's totally different. Like there's a lot of cool things that they can do. So that's what kind of makes it hard, because where it stands right now, where the Pirates movies are right now, like let's say they said, all right, well, we're going to do a soft reboot. We'll have one or two more movies with Jack Sparrow. I actually right now don't think that's a good idea. In fact, I don't think I would enjoy them. And the reason I'm saying that is because things in the whole like movie everything and entertainment and different stuff, like what they can do now with effects, just the whole, it's even hard to put it into words, even with video games now. There's just it's a whole new way now to do things. Some movies do it right, and some don't do it right at all. Like cinematography is becoming a bigger thing and more like mainstream. Like now there's Marvel movies that have like really good cinematography. Same thing with games. Like there's these moments, like for the new God of War, let's say, there's scenes where it's like, wow, this literally is like a movie. In fact, I have not seen a movie do anything near this. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's crazy what they do now. And when I think of that kind of stuff, and I think of Pirates of the Caribbean, they're really, other than at World's End with the waterfall, but there really aren't these movie moments in Pirates of the Caribbean. Now you might be saying, well, what about all the Jack Sparrow random stuff? Yeah, that's like the pirate stuff. That's what they do kind of special, but lately there really hasn't been that. In fact, in Pirates 5, like towards the beginning with the house thing, it's take it or leave it. It wasn't that impressive to me. I don't know. So I just feel like where we are now, in the entertainment world, which I'm not one of those people who are into the entertainment industry. In fact, I'm more like anti or against a lot of some of the stuff. But when I say like entertainment industry, it's again like the cinematography and like that kind of stuff. Where we are right now with it, when I think of Pirates of the Caribbean, where it still is now, like looking at Pirates 5 as the last movie, I don't think it can even compete, honestly. Even taking a look at the new Captain Marvel trailer that just came out a couple weeks ago now when you guys see this, I don't even know how I feel about the movie, but I was like, wow, they actually have some really cool shots, and what they're showing in it, and again, the way that these movies are made now, you could have a movie that looks beautiful for the majority of the movie, And that's just something that we don't have in Pirates of the Caribbean. We just don't. You might think that we do, but I'm telling you, like, to the level that they make movies now, it isn't there. In fact, some of the new Disney live action movies have much better shots and much better cinematography and just movie stuff in general. That even look at the Lion King trailer. I mean, just in that alone, I was like, wow, like I'm impressed at the stuff, and we don't get that in Pirates of the Caribbean. It's got its own vibe, but I just don't think it's a vibe that people would see a trailer for, or a TV spot or a commercial and say, oh, wow, I really want to go see that because it looks amazing. It kind of looks plain. So that's how I feel about Pirates of the Caribbean as it stands right now. Now, if they do a reboot, should they do a reboot? In my opinion, the only way they should do a reboot is if they plan on like a full reboot and like a whole new Pirates of the Caribbean where it's still pirates. It's everything that, at the core, it's what we love. But it's like, this is Pirates of the Caribbean. This is the new Pirates of the Caribbean. And it's got all the cinematography and it's got all those amazing moments. And just these battles that look, I mean, it's like jaw-dropping, and it's just like it's like amazement. It's kind of like if you can visualize the little kid, and they're like watching the fireworks, and they're just like they're just amazed, and they're just like taking it all in. That's what we need to feel now, because that's kind of how I felt when we were watching the At World's End, Davy Jones versus the Black Pearl, like that battle. It wasn't that like amazing, but like what they were showing kind of was. Certain scenes were like when they're getting really close to each other and then they crash. It's like, wow, like just seeing it, or like when they zoom out, or when the not zoom out, when all these hundreds and thousands of other ships come into view out of the fog. You're like, oh my god. But that was then. This is now. That type of scene wouldn't work now. It would have to be it would have to be done differently. So we Pirates of the Caribbean used to be like at par with what was going on, but I feel like now it just isn't. And the thing too that we got to remember is you don't want to be even with everybody else. You want to be the one. You want to be the movie that everybody's talking about. Like when Thor came out, Thor Ragnarok, man, was that so different. Everybody loved it. And Guardians of the Galaxy, when that first came out, that was so freaking different than like anything. And that was the whole talk, right? And now that's kind of what we're getting, where it's like, man, did you see that movie? It was amazing. And sometimes, like when I saw Black Panther, I didn't think story-wise, I didn't think it was like what everybody said, where if you didn't see it, you're a loser. I didn't think that. But I thought like some of the shots and stuff, I'm like, wow, that was pretty impressive. That's what you want. You want it where, like, if you love Pirates of the Caribbean, which I'm sure you do if you're watching the video, right? If you do, you don't want it to be like, oh man, another Pirates of the Caribbean. No, you don't want that. But that's what we get right now, literally. And you might even think that's what this video is, but it's not. All I think, or all that we're really saying, I don't know what Alex is going to say, but all I'm asking for is if you're going to do more movies, do it the right way, in a way that totally recaptures a whole, like, not only the original, fans, but recaptures this, or captures for the first time, I should say, this whole new group that say, wow, you know what? That was Pirates of the Caribbean, and I want to see the next one. And there's only so many ways they can do that. So that's kind of where I stand. Like, should there be a reboot? If they do it the right way, yes. If they're not going to do it the right way and they're going to continue with the way that they've been, I actually don't think they should. Because I don't know. I just don't think they should, because it's almost not right. It's kind of like you think that you have the best product. Almost, I mean, it's almost like irony. It's kind of like the new Fallout 76. Bethesda thought like they're so amazing, and then it comes out, and then it's like, no, actually, you're not that amazing at all, and you really need to take another look at yourself. And the funny thing is, that's what's happening. So I don't know. I don't want that to happen to Pirates of the Caribbean, because if that happened to Pirates of the Caribbean, I can guarantee you there wouldn't be another movie after that. They'd be like, you know what, we're just done. So I'd rather them, if they're going to do a reboot, I want them to do it the right way. in a way that captures a whole new group of people for the better. So that's my thought on it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I think, when you were talking, like a part of this topic that I was kind of thinking of is basically is Pirates of the Caribbean holding itself back. And I think that is kind of the case, and that's kind of what you were saying in that, when you're doing this reboot, if you were to do this reboot, that's exactly what you said. You have to do it right, and you have to do it for the right reasons. And the reasons would be exactly like you said, recapture the magic that you had, and things that worked in Pirates of the Caribbean back in the day won't necessarily work now. I do feel like we've been in that kind of state for the last two movies of we're just getting another Pirates. Now, Pirates 4, it came after At World's End. Everybody was very, very excited for it, and it came out and just wasn't good. And then we had to wait basically forever to get Pirates 5. And then when that came out, it was good. It was better than 4, but did it do enough to kind of really turn things around? Well, probably no. It probably didn't, especially, if they're going to just cancel it, you have to assume not only does it maybe have something to do with Johnny Depp, but it could also definitely have something to do with the money aspect, with is it all worth it? Like, are we going to keep doing this? And that's a good thing, I think. If they're going to cancel the current Pirates and make a new one, you have to think they're thinking, hey, we have a franchise that, and we've said it before, they have a franchise that does insanely well, okay, and it's kind of gotten lost a little bit. We kind of lost what makes this franchise really, really special. And like you said, things are advancing, things are progressing. People are doing different things, and our movies kind of come out, and the last two are kind of the same thing. We've eliminated all of the things that make it special, and we've talked about that too. I don't know if that's budget reasons. Pirates 5, had like 2 sword fights and had no ship battles whatsoever, and Pirates 4 had the same. It had the one big sword fight towards the end. It had Jack versus Penelope Cruz or Angelica, but it didn't have many things. Now, maybe again, that's maybe because of the budget. But if you're going to do that and you're going to make it kind of smaller scale, you have to figure out a way to make it special again, because then you kind of just have these scenes. And I guess Pirates 5 relied a lot on our love of characters that already existed and our love of new characters like Karina, like getting us to do that. So the most special scenes in Pirates 5, I think the best scene is the Barbossa Karina scene on the ship. Okay, that's my favorite scene. And what's so special about that? Really, absolutely nothing. Okay, it's just the scene that's filmed probably on a green screen. There's nothing, there's nothing there, right? But that's what makes it special, only because we rely on those scenes to make it special. So if you want to make a new one and you have to cut the budget, you have to make it a smaller film, well, you need to start doing things that can make it, truly different. Like Tyler said, you need to bring it up to current times. And I think if the rumor is right about the reboot, then I think they're doing it right. Because if that's right, and they talk about, getting the Deadpool writers, it shows you that they know what they have. It's a franchise that relies on a lot of things, but comedy is also one of them. And if you're going to go into this new way of doing things, you're going to, then maybe the comedy is what you need to really drive forward to and be the leaders in comedy. And maybe that's what they're thinking. But I would also, I need them to get to the times with everything else. But I agree with Tyler. I mean, cinematography is so different now with all the really cool shots, all the different ways of doing things. And then you look at Pirates, and it's like, well, Pirates 5, there was really nothing special about Pirates 5. There was another one of the whole animating Johnny Depp to make him look younger. It's not the first time that a movie did that. So, they did a lot of things the movies had already done, and nothing really too special. So I agree. I think if they make a new one, they got to catch up. They got to try and do something different. Maybe comedy is the way they do that. But it's in a need of a shakeup, I think. And, like Tyler said, if they're not going to do that, if they think they're okay, and they could. It sounds like Jerry Bruckheimer had always thought, like, we're doing it good, and we're going to keep doing it the way we do it. And if that's the case, then just make a Pirate 6. But it depends on who's in charge, who's calling the shots. And if Disney wants it to kind of radically change, then I think it absolutely will. So let us know in the comments below, guys. What do you think about this? Do you think Pirates of the Caribbean should be rebooted? Do you think that it's behind the times in these kind of things, or do you think we're wrong? Do you think that that's just not true? Let us know. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel podcast. Now we do Pirates of the Caribbean community series videos every other Friday, so we will see you guys in 2 weeks.